Hey guys, I'm here with Jalen Sills, and we are here to record an awesome video with you. We're just going to talk about all sorts of things having to do with spirituality, raw foods, the connection to nature, finding our passions, and just all uplifting people with our gifts and how we could just share our energy with everyone to just grow and uplift. So I'll let Jalen introduce himself.
Awesome, man. So my name is Jalen. I've been into the raw food lifestyle for about a year and a half now, and I'm just on the path of just trying to grow and to hopefully inspire other people to do the same and improve their health and to find their passions and just to like live their best life ultimately. You know. So so
Great.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
great.
So how?
So when go ahead.
You're good. You're good. You're good. You can start off.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, when did you actually start getting into raw foods and what led up to it?
Okay, so first when I was 18, I went vegan. I'm 21 now. I was actually boxing at the time, and like I had my first fight coming up, and in order to cut weight, I just sort of I was just like I'm just gonna try eating plant based. I like didn't really make the ethical uh, connection yet, but I basically did that, starting feeling, much better. Of course, eating just, lots of whole foods, just, fruits, vegetables, kind of beans, rice, vegetable stir fries and stuff like that. And, feeling much, much better. But I still ate a lot of processed foods and vegan fast food and just stuff like that. And just basically, over time, eventually finding out about like earthlings and and really learning about like factory farming and all that, that hit. You know what I'm saying, that hit. And of course I always knew going vegan was good for the animals. I just didn't have that like that true like visual knowing like, wow, this is serious, this is something real, you know what I mean. Once seeing that just locked that in for me, you know what I mean. And then just just going through life boxing, just eating healthy and stuff like that. Just through YouTube, I stumbled upon just some people online talking about raw foods, and at first I was just like, raw foods, nope. I'll just stay eating my beans and rice, whatever. I didn't really think too much about it. And I think one of the first YouTubers like that I saw that really just kind of clicked something to me was Jack from Raw Tropical Living. I'm not sure if you've ever seen him, but I just started just binge watching like all of his videos, and I was just like, man, I kind of want to try this raw thing out, And I ended up getting 80-10-10 by Doug Graham, and then started eating an abundance of fruits and vegetables, raw foods, and the difference in the energy, in the mood, in the digestion, in the mental clarity. Something it just clicked in me. You know what I mean? It just absolutely clicked, and it was just like, man, there's so much beauty in this lifestyle. And then of course from then finding out all of the beautiful people online. There's so many people out there, sharing the message, and just started just consuming just so much content, and just getting inspired, and and basically, like for this past, like a year and a half, it's definitely been a transition of really overcoming a lot of addictions, a lot of like food addictions, and really stepping into the person that I want to be, living this lifestyle in abundance, so I can spread the message and be an example of health and happiness and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's so awesome. No, yeah, it's so cool to see the like what specific people get like where do they get inspired from like first. Like I started learning from Marcus Rothkranz, but then you started from Jack.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see because I think it's important to find that original that specific person because if you don't resonate with them, you might not actually get the message. But there was something from Jack that you
Yeah.
resonated with. So
Exactly.
that's pretty awesome. And
Exactly.
then yeah, so that's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool. That's pretty cool. So you just started, was it overnight or is it just transition or
So because I already had just like a foundation of just eating lots of like lots of fruit, and I've always loved fruit, so that was so like that wasn't much, of a transition. I remember the first thing, that I started doing was like, I was always doing fruit for breakfast and like a smoothie for lunch. And then for dinner, I just started doing oatmeal and then and just fruit in that. And I was like, oh, like I'm eating raw, like oats aren't really cooked, you know what I mean? But of course, like, but like, I was just doing that for a while. And then eventually I just like I just cut out the oatmeal and then just started doing, like big smoothies, started doing salads and stuff like that. And the first little chunk, I ended up going raw for about 3 months, and I was still boxing at the time, and still still getting in competitions and stuff like that. And my relationship with boxing just over the years started to like really change, and especially as I started, to make these big lifestyle changes. Like I started to sort of, I feel like, open up a lot more, and I started to, and I found another lifestyle that was just like, you know what I mean? Of just not like not just eating raw foods, but just the whole, like just, like sort of, like spiritual lifestyle, and just like really living out your passion. And that initial like aggression that I used to have whenever I first got into boxing, that was just going down and down and down. And then as I started eating raw foods and I was going to these fights and seeing all of that, like really just like energy and just like, oh, it was just like it started to weigh on me. Like I was just having this mental back and forth of just like, do I really want to box? You know what I mean? Is this what I want to do? You know what I mean? But and deep down I knew like I want to let it go. Like I want to like let it go, and I just want to like live this lifestyle and spread the message and start taking videos and start diving into the other things that I'm passionate about, like music and just and going deeper into meditation and just all of these things. But I was feeling limited, by boxing, and during that period, after about 2 or 3 months, I ended up going back to just eating like cooked food, and just maybe like 2 months after, after that, I was just like, man, like I really don't feel the same. Like I had this high that I just kind of lost, and and then like it was like right around Christmas, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go raw again, let's do it. So then I started eating raw, and like at that moment, like within like 2 or 3 days of just being back on the raw and sort of cleaning myself out and feeling that energy again, it was just clear to me like I don't want to box anymore. You know what I mean? I really don't want to box anymore. And the hardest part for me was was telling my coach, because I don't want to let him down. I felt like I was his fighter, and we were gonna do this, and I felt like that could have been my like my sort of life purpose, was to be a boxer so I could spread veganism and do this and do that, which I think I think there is beauty in that. It just stopped resonating because I didn't like fighting people. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed the art of working out and shadow boxing and even sparring and stuff like that, but when it came to just like really just putting your life on the line and just having to just fight on that level, it was no longer resonating with me. And whenever I went back those 2 or 3 days eating raw, it was just clear, like, man, like this is the moment that you need to make a change. Like this is no longer serving you. You have to do what's best for you. You know what I mean? For you. So I told my coach like, hey man, I'm sorry, but I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to take a break and just dive into other areas of life and see what I'm really passionate about. And he was very understanding, and that was just a big like relief. It was just it was just a big relief. And then from that moment, that's when I feel like my like raw journey really started. You know what I mean? Where I was free to just dive into the lifestyle and not have to worry about just certain things like, oh, am I going to be strong enough to so I can fight? Because I was doing that, like you get to be ready because you're getting in there with some crazy people, and because I was so new to it, I didn't know if I could still like maintain strength and still be able to sort of fight on that level while just getting into the raw foods, but after that of just letting it go, that's when I feel like just everything just sort of began, and I was free to start just diving into the lifestyle, creating content, diving deeper into my spirit, into spirituality and meditation and breath work and getting out in nature and creatively expressing myself and just living the life that I've always wanted to live. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
dude, that's really beautiful. Yeah, it's really interesting because a lot of people don't really realize that food it's it is more than just food. And not that food is spiritual. I don't think that food itself is spiritual, but I think that allowing ourselves to clean out and stop burdening ourselves with the heavy foods that do cause damage, it allows us to have a better connection and allows us to get still within. And of course, like you were saying, when you first started doing that, you started feeling more energy. And like you were talking about when you were boxing, you could feel like all the like the high, like not anger, but more of I don't know how you explain it,
Yeah,
but that that energy, and you
yeah,
can feel it. It's you're more sensitive towards it. So it's where you gotta make the choice of am I going to try to force through this, or am I just gonna surrender and just let go and let things be as they are. And yeah, it's kind of like shedding. It's like a shedding process. As you evolve, you have to get rid of things that no longer serve you
totally,
anymore.
100%.
So that sounds like what you did. And I yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
100%. And it's definitely still been a process of, like you said, shedding those layers, letting go
Yeah.
of like what no longer serves, because when you're making such a big change, there's going to be those like those inner pulls that want to pull you back into eating certain foods, or just falling back into bad habits, and it's been a huge process of just letting these things go. And like before raw foods, and even before just going vegan, like I came from a background of addiction, you know what I mean, and this is like what really led me to to spirituality and personal growth in the first place. Throughout high school, I was going through a period of I was prescribed a lot of like medication, like anxiety medication, Prozac, just like Adderall and Vyvanse and Klonopin, and just so many pills, and I was abusing them, and then drinking alcohol and going to school drunk, and just in the cycle, you know what I mean, in the cycle, and I was going to very dark periods of even like taking my life, you know what I mean, of just being so low. And of course, I believe all of that is stemmed from childhood, growing up, and certain maybe traumas and stuff like that, whether it's family, friends, environment, whatever, you know what I mean, that can lead somebody to these vices, but in during high school, I had a period of really being in that addiction and just being lost, you know what I mean, ultimately being lost and it disrupting everything around me, you know what I mean. When I was like when I was on all this medication, it was affecting my relationship with my family, like crazy. Like our family was falling apart, and me and my dad fighting, and just so many different things. And it basically got to the point where I was like like you need to learn how to overcome whatever anxiety, whatever you're trying to heal with these pills. You need to learn how to heal it by yourself, you know what I mean. You have to let go of all of these addictions, all of these pills, all these medications, because they're making you crazy, and they're leading you to not being the person that you want to be, and it's affecting everyone around you. You aren't acting from that place of love, even if there are things around you that are negative. Like reacting to them in a a tactful way isn't the way to handle it. You need to be the love. You need to be the example of the love that you ultimately want, in order to change the people around you, you know what I mean. Because ultimately that was it for me. I felt like I was being mistreated, and from going my whole life and sort of bottling it up. Whenever I was on all this medication, it made me very verbal, and I would try to and I would lash out. I would actually speak out and speak my mind. And but if I was doing I would I would fight hate with hate, you know what I mean. And that's not the answer. You need to fight hate with love and acceptance and understanding why the people around you might act a certain way from their childhood and from their trauma. You know what I mean? So it just took me, getting to that place of just understanding that I'm not assisting this problem. I'm making it worse by using all of these substances or whatever. So I had to just let him go. You know what I mean? I had to just let him go damn near like cold turkey. You know what I mean? It was definitely like a transition of letting go of certain things, but it was, like once it clicked, I was like, man, I need to let these things go. And one day, being at work, I had a friend bring up like meditation, and he was like, yeah, man, like I've been meditating, and it's super powerful. And I was like, okay, cool, I might have to check that out. And then I went home one day and I looked up like how to meditate, and I found Leo, Leo Gura from actualize.org. And that was the introduction to just the whole field of spirituality and a personal development. And that, and like in that moment, it just clicked. You know what I mean? And then I tried meditating for the very first time, and tried to and I was doing like guided meditations and stuff like that. And that moment it clicked, like, wow, I actually can overcome these things with mindfulness, with awareness, with doing these practices that allow you to grow. And still to this day, he still puts out content every single week, damn near. And I think it's just top notch, and it really changed my life from such a young age, from 15, 16 years old. That's what introduced me to it all. You know what I mean? And then just going through these years of of meditating and sort of doing doing some practices, but then eventually getting into veganism, and then going raw vegan, and that's when it all started to just come together. You know what I mean? And then all the pieces started to fall in place from the foundations that were laid down over the past 5-6 years. You know what I mean? So, now I'm just trying to do the work now. You know what I mean? Now it's I feel like I've let a lot of things go. Now it's time to just dive deeper within me and to shed more of the layers so I can inspire more. You know what I mean? So I can teach. So
that's great. See, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it just goes back to, because you were talking about how when you were like 14 or 15, you found what was his name, Leo.
Yeah.
And then after that, years later, you found Jack. So it's as if like all the people at the right time always show up in your life, whether it be online or in real life, in person. That's pretty awesome.
100%. 100%. And it's just they can just show up at the right time, and you have that choice to accept it. You know what I mean? And to actually integrate it, and to it's just listen to your intuition. You know what I mean? If your intuition tells you yo, there might be something here, maybe give it a try and see if there's something there, and see if it has the power to transform your life. Because that's just one of the most inspiring things to me, is being able to transform yourself, to be able to overcome all of your addictions, all of your traumas, all of your limiting beliefs, and to start to grow. Why not grow? Why not improve yourself? So you can improve the people around you. You know what I mean? If you want to make a change, you got to be the change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, just going back to how you explained it earlier, it is a process. It's definitely a process. And a lot of people that could be even listening right now, they may be in a dark place in their life, but it's hard. It's really easy to tell and express to people like happiness and just the energy. But everybody at their own point, and everybody, it seems like everybody, like wherever they are now, they always started from somewhere lower, and it's just over time it's developed. So a lot of times people will see the end result, but they don't really realize that there's a whole story behind that. And you pretty much unraveled that whole entire thing that I just said, dude. So that's pretty awesome.
I think pain is one of the biggest teachers, you know, and I think, and just like you said, I feel like so many people are led to this path, you know what I mean, through immense pain, through suffering, you know what I mean, through going through childhood and, you know, and just seeing and just experiencing all of this, you know, experiencing like negativity around you and, you know, abuse or whatever, you know, just all of these, you know, all of these things that can affect so many, you know, so many people, you know what I mean? And you know we can and we can become a product of that if we aren't mindful, you know what I mean, if we just sort of go through life unconsciously and just adopt all of these, you know, all of these things that we, you know, that we go through, you know what I mean, we can become this like same exact thing, you know. But if you can have the awareness to just see, you know what I mean, and then you can start to change yourself, you know, that's how you can make it out, and that's how you can change the people around you. Because I feel like everyone wants to just love. Everybody wants to just be happy. You know what I mean? And but because of trauma and their upbringings, you know, that's how and just how they were taught. And you know, of course they're gonna act that way because they didn't like they weren't lucky enough to have like YouTube. You know, like I'm so grateful and thankful to have you. If I didn't have YouTube, I feel like I've learned so much and I've consumed like I can't even imagine how much content from so many different people that exposed me to so many different areas and facets of life that I would have never even known about. You know, I would have never found. I'm sure I would have never found out about veganism or raw foods or meditation or spirituality or any of that if I didn't have all of these beautiful people online sharing their story, you know. And that was for me just the biggest savior was to have this platform of so much information, you know. But there's, you know, like there's great information and there's also like toxic information, you know. So like, you know, like you just have to be able to pick which ones you consume and to like not get stuck in the rabbit hole of just, you know, like just kind of toxic content, you know. But there's a lot of good out there. I'll say that there's a lot of good out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just being conscious of what you're consuming. And yeah, like, no, I agree. I say that a lot too about if it wasn't for the internet, like, what the heck? Like, would I know the stuff I know? But at the same time, I think that wherever you are, it's probably where you need to be to learn certain things. So whether it's internet or not, you know, I'd probably, just because of the way I am and probably the way you are too, you're a seeker, you know, you're a seeker. You don't want to stay in one place. And you know that's just evident of itself because you've come so far. So I don't think like if internet didn't exist, I'm sure we would have seeked something out, like no matter
True.
what.
True.
Uh,
Very true.
so that's crazy. So like in terms of more of like the spiritual aspects of things, what have you experienced through with spirituality and raw foods?
Hmm. So like you said earlier, of you know of not like of like not necessarily food being spiritual. It's more of just, you know, allowing the body to heal and to clean out and to lighten up. And I think the biggest thing is that at least for me, going raw, it like I feel more connected to my intuition and to just who I am. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm like, you know, I'm just much more me. I don't have all of these like, you know, like uh, you know, like just all this baggage that I once carried. You know what I mean? Where now I feel like I can just express myself and I can like and I can tap into just much more subtle energies. You know what I mean? Where I'm just much more present. You know, I'm much more in tune to just how people are. You know, like you know, figure how interactions go, and you know, and of course pairing that with spiritual practice, meditating, breath work, you know, going out in nature, it's so much, you know, like you know, more effortless to just connect to that peace, to that stillness within, you know. And I feel like it just allows you to just go deeper. Because I mean, if you're eating all of these heavy foods, hard to digest foods, animal products, stimulating foods, and using substances and doing this and doing that, like it's going to be so much harder to just sit in silence because you're going to feel so uncomfortable, you know. But if you feel light and you can just sit down and just, you know, close your eyes and just tap into the stillness within, beautiful experiences can happen. You know, you can tap into your very essence. You can understand the very essence of reality of life, and you know, and experiences like that are very transformative. You know, doing yoga, like Kriya yoga, and doing, you know, like breath work, and actually, you know, letting energy flow throughout your body and actually raising your chi and your life force. And you know, you can have beautiful experiences, you know, that can just, you know, go so far, and just, you know, intertwine with everything around you, you know.
Yeah, right. I I feel like raw foods it's a gateway to that. So it's not that. Yeah, I mean, you have to experience it. Yeah, that's it. You have to experience it to know. Really, it's a gateway into all these different things. You know, you just start feeling more more pulled to do those types of things, like do breathing exercises, to just get out in nature, connect with yourself, just like being conscious of you and your, and are you spreading love? Just yeah,
100%. Like, and like, just like you said, like you actually want to do those things now. There's a point where I was like, oh, I have to meditate. Oh, I have to go on a run. Oh, I have to, you know, I have to do Kriya yoga. Oh, I would just rather be playing video games. I would just rather be, you know, doing this and doing that. But now you actually want to, because I feel like that's what serves you. Ultimately, that's what's gonna allow you to grow and to really feel your best, and to really tap, you know, you know, tap within, you know, to shed more layers of yourself. You know, is actually doing the practices that allow you to grow. So you know, when you're eating in a way that's nourishing your body, when you're living in line with self-love, you want to do the practices that allow you to that allow your love to grow even more. So where you're just a beacon of self-love, you know, and that can radiate and allow more people to open up their loves, and they can start nourishing themselves, and the cycle can just flow and flow. We can start to, you know, improve the planet, you know, improve the people around us, and start to grow, you know, start to live more in line with love, and no more violence, and, you know, all that.
yeah, yeah. We all uplift each other. Well, we're all one. We're all in this together.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. The screen, the connection is a little